at Chaz, as someone who goes up against Brock Bowers constantly in practice and also lives with him, what is it about him that maybe pushes others to try and match or meet his, competitiveness, intensity, excellence in terms of, going against him, being around him, and sort of elevating yourself to match it?
He never complains, no matter how many reps he gets. No matter the situation, what he has in a play, he never complains about it, and he's always back for the next snap.
Chaz, we talked to you back in the spring about you being the veteran of the outside linebackers. How much more comfortable do you feel sort of leading those guys and having had the last few months, having had the summer as that older guy in the room?
Coming to the spring, I was more of a lead by example kind of leader in my room because I obviously didn't have to talk because there's Nolan. But going into summer and coming out of spring, I realized I had to be more of a vocal leader. I got to be more of a leader in the young guys and teach them how it's done.
You were a guy, just like a lot of people at Georgia, having to wait for their opportunity. And what have you seen from Marvin Jones and Darius Smith, like those guys that have had to wait for their opportunity and could see increased roles this season?
They just both of them put their head down and work. Darius is naturally blessed, with speed and length. Marvin's a great pass rusher, great football player. Both of them, just like everybody else, normally have to wait their turn, but they didn't complain a single play along the way.
Yeah, it's pretty well known you're an extremely hard worker yourself. I'm curious where that comes from, who instilled that in you, and who would you attribute that to?
I attribute it to my dad, Joe Sargent, 25 years in the military. He kind of instilled that in me from a young age that nothing comes easy.
Chaz, you talked about having to welcome being more of a vocal guy. How much of an adjustment has that been for you, being willing to speak out and willing to keep those guys going in the right direction?
I had to do it in high school, so it was on a different level in college, but I had experience doing it from previous times, so I just had to get back into the role.
Chad, you may have answered this earlier, like in spring or something, but what was Nolan Smith's marching orders, so to speak, as far as being now the gatekeeper, I guess, of that outside linebacker room?
Physicality, first off. Everybody has to be physical. We don't get beat. We always have edges. We always close on counter, and we're asked to do most jobs on the field, really, because we're pass rushing, setting the edge, dropping. So being the best on the field is a priority in the outside linebacker room.
We just got done talking to Jalen. That's a football player that's already has the pass rushing skill set, moving back to inside linebacker and learning that position. You were kind of the opposite. You were an inside linebacker your first 3 years, I believe, in high school. Worked your way down towards the line of scrimmage. How's that transition been for you, and do you feel like you're kind of at a point where your skills are really refined?
In high school I played 3-3 stacks, so first, second down, stat backer, and third down I get down in 3-4. But I feel like there was a role that I had to play last year and previous years as covering because we had great pass rushers and Robert Bill, Nolan Smith, so that was already filled. So I just played my role.
Talking about Jalen again, it's the first chance really that we had to pick his brain a little bit. What have you seen from him first doing that cross training and now, obviously spending a lot of time at inside linebacker? Just what have you seen from him and being able to make that transition? What kind of player would you describe him?
Going from outside backer to inside backer, the pass rush helps you. Obviously, inside backer goes, you run a lot of cross dogs, a lot of inside backer blitzes and simulated, but that's going to help him in the inside backer room. There's more coverage in the inside linebacker room, more mental, capacity you have to have. But he's up for the task. He's mentally strong, and he's got all the abilities.
Chaz, I mean, you're going into your third season, you know, I mean, what are you looking to really progress in your own game now, kind of leading that edge rusher room?
Just taking the footsteps of those before me. You know, there's great outside linebackers from Georgia, Lorenzo Carter, Noah Smith, Robert Bill. Those guys set a pathway and a way of how to do it, and just trying to follow by that standard.
Two kind of non-football sort of related questions. One, the number 32, where did that come from for you? And then secondly, we always hear about how competitive Bowers is and doesn't like to lose at anything. Is there anything you can beat him at consistently when you guys compete outside of football?
Number 32, nothing really significant. I just kind of got him when I was younger and kind of just stuck it out, and I also always loved Dante Hightower. Tyrann Mathieu also. I love those guys growing up. And trying to think what I can beat him in. I say fishing. I can beat him in. He beats me in shooting. There's not a lot I can beat him consistently in.
Chaz, what have you seen from the 3 freshmen outside linebackers going through the first fall camp? How do you feel like they've held up to this point in camp?
It's always an adjustment, especially in fall camp, because you're getting installs every single day. They got to build their mental capacity and obviously their toughness, because we're going on 2 weeks right now of straight practices. So they're just progressing, getting used to the tempo of practice and just putting their head down and grinding every single day.
Chaz, got to ask you, to go back to your dad being a drill sergeant, what was it like growing up in that kind of environment as a young kid? And did y'all do a lot of moving around while he was doing his job?
Yeah, I lived at Fort Jackson and a couple more in Mississippi, maybe Texas for a week or two, but it's kind of difficult because he is on the base most of the day and early, and then comes back late at night. But it's beneficial in the long run because he instilled everything in me that he would have instilled on his privates or anybody that he's drilling all day.
Is he still active?
He died 3 years ago.
Oh, my bad, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Chaz, when you look to the scrimmage coming up on Saturday, what do you feel like are the big goals for the defense? What do you guys need to accomplish with the season so close?
Can you repeat the first part of it?
Yeah. Looking at the scrimmage coming up on Saturday, what do you feel like this defense needs to accomplish in that scrimmage, just knowing the season is so close?
The season's so close. We got to create an identity for ourselves. We got to say that if we're going to be a run-stop defense, we're going to be a third down efficiency. We got to set the tone for ourselves in that scrimmage, because these scrimmages going into the season really set everything up. So we got to set an identity for ourselves.
Got time for 2 more questions.
You told us last season that your nickname on the team was the White Wolf. Does anybody else on the team have a better nickname than that, or do you have the best nickname on the team?
I could say Pop. Pop's a good nickname for him, but I'm sure there's more. I just can't think of it right now.
Yeah, I know with the quarterbacks, you're not really tackling them in practice out there, but what's the escapability of these guys compared to Stetson, who obviously can make plays with his feet a lot?
I think that they do a great job in the pocket. We do a great job in practice of putting them in situations where they can roll in and out of the pocket with 9-on-9, 5-on-4 pass rush. Put them in situations that they're uncomfortable and put them in situations to succeed.
Chaz, thank you.
Thanks, Chaz.
Thank you, Chaz.